Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a care guide about the Convict cichlid right here. Well, I feed these guys one of these sticky tablet foods. So you just stick this on the glass and then they start eating. Okay, so basically, convict cichlids, they need basically they need a lot of space in their tank because they are pretty aggressive. Let's start where they come from. They usually come from Central America and places like that. Yeah, anywhere in Central America. And they're pretty aggressive, if you can see. Well, yeah, they're kind of chasing some of these guys away. I definitely would say don't keep them in a community tank with tetras and things because they'll bite them and stuff and try to kill them or just harass them out of their territory. So one of my convicts took over this whole space as only his territory, and he chases everybody away from it. So basically, you're going to need a lot of space. So if one of your convicts takes over a whole space, don't be worried because it's completely normal and part of their behavior. So I guess let's talk about tank size. If you're just going to keep convicts by themselves, just two of them, you should have a 29-gallon aquarium. If you're going to have just two of them by themselves, if you're going to have one by itself, it could be in a 20-gallon, but I would seriously think of a 29-gallon. And if you want to keep multiple fish with them, at the absolute minimum, 40 gallons, but I would say 55 gallons if you actually want them to not be aggressive. This tank right here is, I think 75 to 80 gallons. So, this tank would do great if you want a community setup with a lot of fish. If you notice, I have them with African cichlids, which seem to do pretty well because they're just as energetic as the convicts and just as aggressive. Then I should notice the feeding. They do prefer carnivorous foods, but they will definitely eat plant diet too, but I would recommend carnivorous foods. They are actually on the smaller end of cichlids, only getting around 5 to 6 inches, and they usually eat plants. So with the feeding, you could feed them some moss or something. But if you actually want to keep plants with them, keep large Anubias with them. I have these little Java ferns in here, which they haven't seemed to eat yet. I'll give some updates if they eat these little Java ferns, but yeah, they definitely will chase fish for food, so make sure to target feed your fish. Here I'm just letting them go ham on this little piece. Now I guess let's talk about tank mates. Again, I said that African cichlids do pretty well. You could also do some other Central American cichlids like fire mouths here. You can do blood parrots, green terrors, Oscars. You might be able to do some really aggressive fish because, again, these guys are pretty aggressive and can hold their own. You definitely, I would not keep them with flower horns and anything that they could eat. Again, going back on feeding, you should feed them, you should feed them, feeder fish for regular entertainment for them. Not regular, but every once a week or something. That's another thing. Don't keep them with small fish because these guys do eat feeder fish. Even that they are smaller, they will still go after them and eat them. I threw in some mosquito fish and guppies and stuff, and they devoured them. So if you guys got neon tetras, guppies, things like that, they'll probably eat them. If you guys are looking for a schooling fish to keep with them, you want 2 convicts and some sort of schooling fish at the top or the middle of the tank, you should get Congo tetras, Buenos Aires tetras, or silver dollars. Those are honestly the best options, or Colombian tetras or black skirts. There are lots of schooling fish options. Again, stay away from neons and cardinals because those ones will get eaten. Also, other things that I would recommend not to keep with them are African door frogs, because convicts will constantly like bite at their legs and stuff and try to eat them. And if they don't eat them, then they'll just harass them for a really long period of time until they die. So it's really, I would not do it. Another thing I would not keep them with is flower horns. For obvious reasons, they would kill the convict cichlids probably. I've seen it happen, of course, but you still should not do it. So for like overall what their tank should be like, it should be primarily wood and rock, not a lot of plants. Here I have them in a Lake Malawi setup with like one piece of wood, and they seem to like it. So that's pretty good for their tank. You can keep them with peacocks and things like that in these setups. The thing is, if you're going to keep them with African cichlids, I highly recommend having a high pH. Even that, Central Americans need low pH. Convicts don't. They can live in really alkaline water if they need to be. Also, don't forget, for the filtration, have like an HOB or like a sponge filter or like a canister filter that works really well. And also for the substrate, I recommend sand because they really like digging and stuff. And also, another thing is, I definitely recommend having a light on the aquarium. Even that, it's still cool to have like a light like this on the tank to be able to, be able to see your fish and stuff. And also make sure to create little caves like this because they like hiding in there. So now let's talk about like, what if your convict cichlids start breeding, which can become a problem. So if your two convicts end up laying eggs like on rocks or something, you do have to remove the eggs immediately because the convicts will probably start breeding and could kill off your fish. So I'd highly recommend removing every single egg from that tank so they don't parent them. And I think that's gonna end off the video, guys, for the convict cichlid care guide. But there's one other thing. If you want to feed them stuff, make sure to feed them brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, and bloodworms and stuff. And don't forget the weekly feeder fish because those guys really help stimulate the brains and stuff. Peace out, guys.